Number one is we sometimes are over attached. That is to say, we're kind of clingy to other people or clinging to other people. And I kind of wondered, what should I title this video? I was going to title it, What If I Am the Problem? And then I stopped and thought about that. And I said, sometimes I am the problem. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when I am the problem. So let's retitle the video. How do I know that I am the problem when it comes to social relationships? And the reason this is important is because people with autism, all of us struggle with in social circumstances. This is part of being autistic. That is one of the primary telltale signs that this guy is autistic or at least has autistic traits. First thing is we tend to be too clingy, too much attached to individuals. It's kind of like something that is very rare, and so you want to hang on to it. You want to keep it. Do you have something in your life that is special that you never want to ever let go? I once heard of an elderly woman who had a little plastic chicken that she kept on her kitchen counter. Say chicken kitchen at the same time. It's not easy. But she had this little yellow plastic chicken that she kept on her counter. And her grandchildren grew up remembering that cheap little plastic chicken. You could probably buy it if you could find one at a dollar store for $1. And just no value to it whatsoever, except to her grandchildren. And so they coveted, after her demise, they coveted that little plastic chicken because it meant something to them. That's how we are to some people, because our friendships are so few and far between that when we get one, we tend to be a little bit, or we may tend to be a little bit too clingy to those people. We don't want to let them go to the point where we actually drive them away. It's counterproductive because nobody likes to be smothered, or no sane person likes to be smothered, even in a figuratively speaking, even in a relationship. So if you find yourself being over attached to somebody or really glued to somebody, maybe that's an indication that, not literally glued, you know that, but that's an indication that, okay, I'm the problem. This case, I'm the problem. Number two is sometimes we are very demanding that other people adhere to our patterns. And if you are autistic, chances are you have routines, you have patterns, you have things in your life that have to be done this way or that way, never that way and this way. They have to be done exactly precisely the way that we want them done, and there's no wiggle room, none whatsoever. Now, I don't think I've got a serious problem with that. Yeah, I like some things done right, but I'm not really demanding, and if I find myself in that situation where I am demanding, that is a cue to me. That is a red light on my life's dashboard that says, stop it. It says, you need to fix this. There's something broken here. So don't be so demanding and expecting other people to have it your way all the time. Number three is if you tend to instigate fights, that tends to suggest that you want to be in control. And that kind of ties into number two. Now, I've never been somebody who is confrontational, but some people with autism, Asperger's, they're known for their confrontational attitude. They call it spurging out. I don't like that term because it usually makes reference to meltdowns, but sometimes we instigate a fight, not realizing it. Maybe it's during one of those meltdowns, and if we find we're doing that too frequently, too often, well, we're the problem. We need to deal with it. And I know, sometimes we can't help it. We don't do it on purpose. Doesn't matter to the other person whether we're doing it on purpose or not. What matters to them is they see us as a problem, and that's what we're talking about. When we are a problem, whether we intend to be, whether we can help it or not. Number four, if we keep what I call a trivial list. Now, I actually think we should record, sometimes literally video or audio record other people. I was attacked once. And fortunately, I had the foresight to have a video camera, a body cam when I was out walking at night, and actually caught the person. So, yeah, keeping a record, keeping a list maybe is of when somebody's doing something wrong, maybe at the workplace, you want to document it. I see nothing wrong with that. But what we're talking about here, number 4, is trivial list keeping wherever little offense or ever little anomaly, real or imagined, goes in our list book. Remember the movie Rain Man? And Dustin Hoffman's character had this little book, and he wrote down every little offense that his older brother committed, Charlie Babbitt. People actually do that, and it's sometimes difficult not to because, well, it hurts us. We're offended. We want to do something about it. So if we're doing that, trivially listing things that really aren't that serious, not really that bad, there's a strong suggestion there, but maybe I'm the problem. Maybe we're the problem. And maybe we need to knock it off. Here's another thing. I've talked about this in other videos. But I call this you statements. And by that I mean we're being accusatory. We're being accusative. I don't know which one is the correct word, but we're making accusations against other people, always blaming the other person. Maybe not always, but excessively. Blaming the other person. You are the problem. You talk too loud, you talk too quiet. Not them talking to us. I mean, we hear that all the time, right? But us talking to them, saying, hey, you got a problem. You were too late. You were too early. You didn't cook dinner right. You didn't wait on me for dinner. You should have paid for this. Not my turn to pay. So they just keep flowing out of us sometimes, always accusing the other person. So what do we do about that? Well, we're just very mindful of it, and we understand that when we're constantly accusing other people, particularly when it's projection, finding our faults in them, that is a huge sign that, maybe we're the problem. And I know it's tough to admit when we're the problem, when I'm the problem. I want to say, those people who live in the neurotypical hive mind, they are the problem. It's us versus them. We never stop and consider that, maybe I'm the problem. Some of the time, often not, but when we are, we need to stop and think about maybe there's a solution, so let's tie all this together. One thing I have noticed that many people with autism possess is effective empathy. By that I mean we care about other people. Now, we may not be very good at reading facial expressions and body language, alternative nonverbal speaking. We may not catch on to that like other people do, but we tend to be, and not all of us, but we tend to be, at least in my observation, possessors of effective empathy. And one of the antidotes for being a problem is being empathetic to other people. So if we care about somebody else, we're not going to be clingy. If we care about somebody, we're not going to demand that they adhere to our patterns and our ways of doing things. If we are empathetic, we're not certainly going to be instigating fights. I mean, sometimes you got to have a little squabble, got to have a little quarrel. There's going to be disagreements, but excessively instigating them, not if you're empathetic. Number 4, we talked about the trivial list keeping. If we keep a compassion for people, we're not going to keep a list of those people if those things that we're putting on the list are nonsensical, just trivial. Something to think about. Honestly, I don't know a lot of people who actually do that, but if we do, it's something to pay attention to. And those use statements. If we care about people, we're not going to constantly be accusing them, making those you statements. If you got something out of this video, subscribe, be part of our family, and we'll see y'all next time.